Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Game number 4, the most pivotal game of all, Game 3, goes to Tarrant County to bring us into a new run.
Tell you what, it was close, though. Tarrant County did a lot to try and lose that game, losing that Gold Fury, losing the Fire Giant, but it ended up being enough to still put them over the edge. The Hunbats-Morrigan combo was really the headliner of that one. So if I'm Indiana, first thing off the board, Morrigan. No chance I want to see that again.
I wouldn't even let Glaivus's Hunbats come through at this point. I mean, if he doesn't pick his god by the next ban phase, you already know Morrigan's going off the board. They're not going to let it come through at all. If Glaivus's Hunbats is still there, just go ahead and get rid of the Hunbats as well. I mean, those two paired so well together in that game.
Completely agree. I mean, he played very, very well on the Hunbats. Definitely had a couple struggles in the early game, you know, diving that tower underneath Outlaw and where he got killed. That was a little fried, but everything else seemed up to be pretty good.
Well, going through, Indiana now has first pick. Tarrant County's had it last 2 games, and they're still going to take the R2 off the board. They don't want to play it. They don't know what Rachetier is capable of, or maybe even if Osath's been practicing it. So once again, just taking the bear away. No one likes.
And they've been they've been banning away that Raijin so far to keep that out of VVhytry's hands. Maybe they want to ban Morrigan and first pick the Raijin to try and keep that still away from him, because as we mentioned, he played Soul the first 2 games before we went to the Morrigan, and it wasn't bad, but it didn't make too big of an impact. And so if I'm Indiana, I still want to keep him off of his comfort picks.
Yeah. Take the Morrigan away. If the Raijin comes through, it's still not going to be a fun time, but you know, they might have a strategy to kind of go against this Raijin, knowing that now we might have to let this one through. We might have to let him pick it. They're going to still ban the Raijin. They're going to leave the Morrigan open. That's a big risk.
That's a big risk indeed from Indiana. I'm very surprised that they did not feel like that was the determining factor in that game. Maybe they still will try and first pick it, but the Morrigan first pick for Indiana, I mean, if you're going to give it to your mid laner, Outlaw, I mean, he was playing so well on the Thoth, there's no real reason to put him on something else in my mind.
No, I mean, his Thoth has been big in all these games. Even though they lost that game, his final judgments were on point. They were getting kills. He was sniping out, stole a Gold Fury away even with it.
Yep.
Why, if it's not broke for you, why try and fix it?
I agree. So now it's the Robin again, focusing out Sheyka, and again, it's the first pick Thoth. This is exactly how the picks and bans went for game number 1 of this set, where Indiana got this Thoth early on. Now, Tarrant County, they went for an OSiris on the other side here, and but this time it's going to be the Ratatoskr, and I like this. I really would have, I think, rather seen Sheyka take, Rat Morrigan to another, again, a jungler with an impact ult that the Morrigan can transform into. First pick, Ratatoskr would have been way better in my mind for Indiana.
I mean, we saw how annoying it was in Super Regionals with this combination, now making it back into VVhytry's hand and giving Glaivus another god that's well within his reach of the pools. The Assassins are usually his primary. He can go into those warriors sometimes, but really does love these Assassins. And Indiana, they're going to grab the OSiris one more time, give that over to Wolfking.
And Ganesha for Sabbeth. Yeah, could be in the jungle for Sheyka this time around. We'll have to wait and see, though. Wolfking did look pretty good on the OSiris in that game. And same with Sabbeth on the Geb, but it wants to go for Ganesha, maybe to try and disrupt what Rat and Morrigan are doing a little bit better than Geb can. So a good idea here this time around, because you can silence out the Morrigan from her stealth and make it so that she can't stun you and do that big damage. And a Morrigan who can't go into stealth or gets revealed from the stealth is usually a Morrigan that's in trouble.
Well, both teams going back to what worked for them. Morrigan and Fafnir for Tarrant, Thoth, OSiris, Ganesha for Indiana, and now is where the pivotal picks and bans come through. You have most likely your solo laner. I haven't seen Sheyka really focus towards it this time. Does Tarrant County try and ban away from Sheyka, or do they try and once again do the sop strat?
I think that they should ban away Sheyka a little bit more. I mean, take away something like the Naja maybe, but Naja really didn't end up working too well for him. Though he played well enough that I think I'd be comfortable banning it away. Here is Tarrant. I'm fine with Sop staying on Hachiman. He did not have a really good late game in that matchup, and the Odin ban a little bit interesting here. I'm not sure that Odin would have necessarily been the best pick for Indiana with these first 3 picks on the board, but it is one of those annoying picks that even if you're not looking to cage people down, you can zone them away from objectives very easily. Not the worst ban in the world from Tarrant.
Odin's more of the Mort Brooklyn jungle ban that I would have liked to have seen. Not really the Sheyka. Of course, the last time that Sheyka went up against an Odin, he was playing a Mercury, and it wasn't a fun time for him. Ult into a couple of cages, sometimes it just wasn't too fun, but again, the Ho Yi, no surprise, that's taken away. And Arlong Shen taken all away from Osath. I like this ban.
Yeah, I like that too. Arlong Shen, such a good team fighter, can be a good transformation target for the Morrigan as well to cause a lot of disruption and easy damage in the midst of a team fight. So now Tarrant has an option. Do they want to try and give pucmm a priority pick? If I'm Tarrant, I'm probably just giving him Cernunnos again. He looked more comfortable on that god than any of his other ones. Still had trouble in lane up against sops, but come the later stages, he was able to perform a little bit better than he had previously.
I mean, there was one point he was 1-7, but it didn't matter because he didn't need the kills. He was helping to get those kills. And late game, he started bringing that slash line back up in his favor. They're going to go ahead and lock it in. They don't want to give that one over to sops because we do know that sops obviously has that god into his pool. So making sure that pucmm can get back onto his comfort is key for him.
Now sops wants to maybe go back to the Artemis. I mean, again, like I said, Artemis, pretty good matchup into Fafnir. Could also try and sniff out the Morrigan by just popping the Caledonian Boar and hoping that it'll stutter right as soon as Morrigan comes out of stealth, and that's exactly going to be the call here for sops. And Cabrakan, this time for Sheyka most likely, though could be going over to the solo lane for Wolfking. Can be really, really strong here for sure, but needs to be careful about falling behind early on because the early damage here for Indiana is not very good. Their late game damage is great between the Thoth and the Artemis, but with Cabrakan and OSiris, you're really relying on those two in the early stages to carry you into the late game.
A lot of priority towards banning away warriors this time around. Now, Osath has to dig a little deeper in that pool, but knowing him, he does have some of those kind of crazy options that he can still go into. I highly doubt he'll go the Vamana that he used to run back in Season 1 and 2. Just not quite the same god that he used to be, but Osath does have that expansive god pool. I wouldn't be opposed to a possible Nike that he brought out at the land last time around. Ended up doing really well for his team.
Though Nike not great into Ganesha or Cabrakan because those are easy stuns to interrupt her out of that rend. Looking at the other warriors in the pool, it's going to be Xing Chen, so instead of Guardian, and I love this pickup for Tarrant County. I mean, Xing Chen has had so much success in the last 2 weeks here at the lands on PC and now on console that it doesn't give you pressure in the early game. And Osath has really gotten a lot of pressure for himself with that Cucullin, so it's going to need a play style change from Tarrant County on that side of the map. But if they can do it successfully, this team fight for Tarrant just got really, really good.
I mean, if there's anybody who can play to the strengths of the Xing Chen, knowing that he's not going to win the early game, he's going to have to wait towards that mid-late game, it's Osath. He just loves these kind of slower rolling gods. You know, he has played, yes, he played the Cucullin. That's the one you want to get going hard and fast, but he'll play the Chok, kind of wait early on. He'll play the Osirises, the Erlongs, kind of some of these gods that they're not always looking to kill. They definitely can. Arlong Shen has a great amount of rush down, but Xing Chen, I believe he brought this out last time around in the matchup against Stony Brook last season. It didn't work the best for him, but this is still well within Osath's range.
And keep in mind, I mean, this is a great pick into the Cabrakan because Cabrakan has no CC immunity in his kit, and he's not going to want to get Purification Beads because he wants something like Blink to engage the fights with. So that Whirlwind of Rage and Steel picking up and tossing Cabrakan nearly guaranteed every time is really, really impactful coming out of the solo lane.
And not only that, there's a lot of gods who can't really deal with anything without CC immunity. Ganesha is going to be able to be picked up. The Thoth can be picked up if he doesn't have beads. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see a couple extra sets of beads just to negate what they want to do with the Xing Chen.
Wouldn't mind it because you also get some mileage out of it against the Morrigan, who's not going to be able to stun you with that deadly aspect. That hammer from Fafnir, not going to be as impactful. Wouldn't be awful, but still a little bit risky because there is so much CC on Tarrant County that good chance they'll be able to pop that Magi's Blessing bubble off of you before Osath wants to engage.
Well, Sheyka going to be starting out with the Blink. He wants the aggressive option as opposed to the beads, and that's going to be the turntail is how is that level 5 fight going to go if they bring that back to the solo lane like they have every game?
That's going to be very important. Also, Wolfking going for Sprint this time instead of Horrific Emblem, where I think Horrific Emblem would have gotten way more impact in this matchup than any of the previous ones. Osath went Blink, and that would have been a really good kill opportunity for Indiana in that solo lane had Wolfking stuck with the aggressive Horrific Emblem pickup instead, going for the Sprint this time around.
Well, and oddly enough, bringing the support into the double Guardians now into the solo lane for the clear matchup, it's going to go a little bit more in favor of Wolfking and Sheyka this time around just because of how great their early clear is. Fafnir and Xing Chen, not too great for them, but it's going to allow Glaivus to sit in mid and try and get VVhytry up.
And again, it's the Fire Elementals for the pressure lane on the right-hand side. Cabrakan, one of the best level 1 clears in lane. Tremble so good at clearing the wave early on. Sheyka going for Sands of Time instead of the usual Vampiric Shroud, and actually not too bad of an option here because Cabrakan does have some mana issues, so Sands of Time can fix that with the innate MP5 as the passive. And on the other side, Osath, you're usually going up against a physical warrior in the solo lane, so that a little bit of physical protection from Vampiric Shroud ends up being pretty impactful, but with Xing there, you're not really worried about it. So I think the Sands of Time pickup actually very smart from Sheyka.
Well, looking at Outlaw, if we're talking about builds, it's a cookie cutter for him. And maybe not going to go a Warlock like he did in game number 2, but once again, the Book of Thoth rush early on for Outlaw.
And that's what he's been going for every single game on this Thoth, and it's worked out so far. Can't really argue with the results that he's had in the mid lane. And again, VVhytry is not going to be able to pressure you out in the early game on the Morrigan. Does need to be concerned with the lack of boots up against a Ratatoskr. In fact, being half HP already, he's going to back to base, but don't think he's going to pick up any boots, which is a little bit surprising. No, he did go for the boots 1, so an extra 6% movement speed to try and get himself to be a little bit more mobile and carry him until he can get that 1250 gold to finish off Book of Thoth.
Well, Sops going to be the first one they aggress onto. Late beats coming out, but he's going to be able to get away for the time. Pucmm not going to land that Bramble Blast, and because of that, Sops is going to be able to get out.
Yeah, that's very important, and a good hold there from Pucmm to wait on that Bramble Blast to try and catch Sops in the root. Just good juke by Sops instead. And this is what we were kind of asking for, is some more pressure from Tarrant County onto Sops, who was really able to free farm thus far.
Well, they're going to try and go again, but the Acorn's not going to connect from Glaivus, so Sops going to be able to get back under his tower and safely farm up. But you know, once Glaivus hits that level 5, you know his target going to be back onto Sops.
Without a doubt, but Sops will be level 5 by then as well, and Glaivus is going to need to have his beads ready in order to get that CC immunity for Tusky when it comes out.
Pucmm could also try and use his ult to bait it out, get that wild hunt, but now Sheyka's here, has that speed buff, has that first ability popped up just to get that root immunity and the slow immunity off of it. Now Glaivus still waiting to hit level 5 himself. I think he should be able to hit that one with this wave.
Exactly. He'll have that through the Cosmos available, so Sops going to back to base knowing that his beads are down. He doesn't want to stick around too much longer. Shouldn't have enough done for Devourer's Gauntlets. Instead, just going for boots 2, getting closer to some safety. And that's what I like here for Sops, is that when he's playing this Artemis, he's gone for the boots rush instead of the Devourer's Gauntlets rush, giving him a little bit more safety in this lane.
Well, Osath going to use his ult. It's ult for ult onto Wolfking, but he doesn't have the immunity for Glaivus' ult. Actually, it's VVhytry who transformed into the rat to try and come back through, but they end up taking a lot more than they can dish out.
Yeah, exactly. Really good play there from Wolfking to take the 2v1 and end up on top. And now Sheyka is going to be able to rotate over. If VVhytry stays, this could be first blood.
Could be going for it, and it will be quick and easy for Sheyka. VVhytry just jumping around, didn't recognize the rotation. There's no ward coverage on that side to see him coming.
And this could be an invade opportunity for Indiana if they choose, though. Wolfking hasn't backed since the beginning and has only boots 1. Sheyka healthy enough, and he's going to walk into the enemy jungle, but now he's got 3 to worry about. May have to try and blink out, but he's put into combat by the rest of Tarrant County. Sheyka's in some trouble.
Big root immunity is going to keep him out for the time being, but he's being knocked up and CC'd to dead. No way he's getting out of that one. Glaivus picks up the first kill for Tarrant County onto Sheyka.
Yeah, that's just bad communication from Indiana. They've got either Wolfking's got to let Sheyka know, yo, dude, I'm backing. Don't try and push up here because there's going to be members on that right-hand side. Even without Rachetier there, that's probably a kill onto Sheyka, who just did not recognize that he had no help coming and had a lot of members of Tarrant County to worry about.
And that's the one big thing that Sheyka does have against a lot of these members, is that root immunity when he pops that first ability. And you saw in that last one, he got knocked up, but he didn't get rooted. And that root's really the big one of the hook slam from the Xing.
Exactly, and it'll work very well up against that Bramble Blast from Cernunnos as well. Just such a good, really underrated ability for Cabrakan. Not only does it bring a ton of damage, but the movement speed, the slow immunity, and that root immunity makes it a lot harder to peel him away from the back line.
Well, approaching 5 minutes. It's 1-1 for both of these teams. 2-1 for the set. Tarrant County, they're going to need VVhytry to pop off again like he did last game, because they're looking to bring this to game 5. Indiana, they want to shut it out right here. They said, all right, you got your 1. We're happy, you're happy, let's stop.
That was a big play, though, from VVhytry to try and transform into the Ratatoskr and bring the pressure in the solo side. Loved that option from him in order to play aggressive there. And that's what I want to see out of a Morrigan in the early game. Utilize that Ratatoskr damage and mobility to try and make a play early.
Well, Sheyka gonna see the decoy of VVhytry just walk towards him. He's gonna just stare at it, saying, well, goodbye later on, while VVhytry holds on to that stun, waiting for someone to move forward. Glaivus going to throw out the acorns on Outlaw, but Outlaw's just going to dash away quickly.
Sheyka takes a little bit of poke damage, but VVhytry's not going to be able to close the gap enough to get in range for the stun. And Sheyka, I would really like to see him go for an early Void Stone here. Shut down the damage that Rachetier and VVhytry are going to do to him early on. Strip away their magical protection for not only himself, but for Outlaw and Sabbeth as well.
Oh. Up into the sky he goes, but a quick bore from Sops. That's going to make sure Glaivus can't go for it, but that's a worthwhile trade for him.
Without a doubt. Lower cooldown on that through the Cosmos ultimate anyways, and you're going to be able to allow pucmm to play more aggressive. And Glaivus doesn't even need that ult to play aggressive in this lane. He can just come around the back like he did before and get a free kill on the Sops now that those purifications, then now that ultimate's down.
Now Sheyka would know, VVhytry
no.
jumps down, but he's way off the mark. Outlaw going to try and throw out the shot, but it's not going to find a home. He's going to get stunned out. Sheyka dropping 2 kills now for Tarrant County. 1 onto Glaivus, now 1 onto Ratch. Not the best, but not the worst.
Ratatoskr ultimate is so impactful in the early and mid game that having 2 is it just feels impossible to play against. I mean, you get 1 over on the left-hand side that gets an ultimate. You get 1 in mid that helps secure a kill on a Sheyka. That's just so hard to deal with, and I just keep going back to it. I'm so surprised that Indiana allow VVhytry to get this Morrigan again.
I don't know what was going through their minds thinking that the Morrigan was the pick. I mean, they took the Raijin away. They're more scared of VVhytry's Raijin than they are of his Morrigan at this point. And if that's a statement to be made, I mean, next game, I mean, if this goes to a game 5 and VVhytry does go off like he did last time around, there has to be a Morrigan ban if game 5 hits.
Without a doubt. I mean, I can't imagine Tarrant County able to get this without big plays from VVhytry, who has to use the purification beads. He's 1 HP underneath his tower, but Sabbeth's already used the ult. He's not going to be able to get there and close it off.
Nobody's really going to be able to close in. pucmm makes a rotation. The Wild Hunt comes through onto Sabbeth. Now Sheyka using those tremors, but really to no avail. His ult's already down, and everybody's just going to back out.
Yeah, good ult there from Sheyka to make sure Sabbeth stayed safe. But look at where Sops went. He went to start pulling Gold Fury, but without any lifesteal whatsoever in that kit. I was going to say that's a really risky Gold Fury pull, and kind of baits Wolfking into the mid lane, trying to support just in case that is what his squad wants to go for. But that's farm he's missing on the right side of the map.
Well, Sheyka and Sops just going to go ahead and team up for those Oracle Harpies. They'll be able to drop those ones just close. Ratchet was on the way, had that hammer ready for it, but they're going to drop that one. Get that vision. Make sure that Tarrant can't go for an early Gold Fury. And
it's pucmm who actually finishes off his Devourer's Gauntlets first, and he's going to be able to start farming up those stacks faster than Sops. This has been the best start for pucmm so far in this set.
This has been a really good start. You can see on to the left side, the XP per minute, he's leading by about 30 onto anybody, even over the solo laners, where in prior games, I mean, they've kind of been in the middle of the pack more than anything else. So pucmm finally starting to find his footing on this Cernunnos.
Already 10 stacks, got the red buff as well. Sop's not going to be able to box him anytime soon. He's got to back and get his own Devo Gauntlet stacked up, but he knows that if he backs right now, that purple buff is going to go puckm's way, and it's going to extend his lead. So this is the problem, is whenever you've got a lot going on that side of the map, and you're like, well, I can't back now because I've got my red buff up, or now I can't back now because purple buff's up. And by the time Sops clears this wave, the next wave is right behind him, so he's going to lose some of the next one to tower as well, even if he backs right away.
Well, a lot of mobility over at the Gold Fury. Everybody just grouping up, looking for something. Sheyka going to get stunned out. Dark Omen not going to connect from VVhytry. And now Glaivus just kind of sitting off to the side on his own. Going to have that dash. Needed to use that quick because Sheyka does have that ultimate. Could have stopped him in place.
Sheyka has Blink, and VVhytry has no beads. I'd really like to see him play aggressive onto VVhytry right now, because you got to take advantage of this Morrigan in the early game where she's at her weakest.
Well, and just as we expect in the solo lane, Osath is a level down onto Wolfking, looking towards possibly that Breastplate of Valor, maybe looking towards a Nemean Lion into it. I'd like to see the Nemean Lion going up against the Artemis late game, really just trying to shut down what Artemis is so good at.
There's the blink in onto VVhytry, who is just dead before he even gets a chance. Sheyka gets that kill, but Outlaw is in some trouble. Great wall, though, from Sheyka. Stops the chase in from Glaivus. Great play out of Indiana's mid laner. I thought he was mid laner because it's Sheyka, and that's what I'm expected to say whenever I see Sheyka. It's his jungler.
I mean, that's the story to be made for some of these players. Is Sheyka, normally a mid laner for Salsa Squadron, has been playing mid for a long time. Now having to transition into jungle to help accommodate for his team. And pucmm the same thing, normally a solo laner, now playing Hunter to try and fill the shoes of Day to Remember.
It's tough. I mean, playing off role against really, really good players. I mean, Glaivus has actually not looked quite as good as Sheyka has in this set for my money, and that's a lot of credit to Sheyka for being able to adjust and look that good in a new role. But you got to feel for pucmm, who's up against, an SPL caliber ADC and sops, and has to try and deal with that in lane, game in and game out. It's taken him a couple games to adjust, but this is the first time where he's really looks like he could go toe-to-toe.
Now, this is the first time that puckm's really started to look good. In previous games, he's been going 1 and some odd, 1 and 7, 1 and 6, maybe 3 and 8 or something like that. So pucmm hasn't had the best showing up until this time, and I think it finally took them realizing maybe we can just give him Cernunnos this time.
Exactly. I mean, he struggled in the early game for Cernunnos, but certainly started to feel it a little bit more as that last game went on. And Oracles get split 1 for 1. VVhytry into the stealth as Sheyka pushes forward again. VVhytry, I'm sure, remembers what happened to him last time Sheyka was able to blink on top of him.
Kind of scared me for a thought. I forgot that was his decoy. I'm like, VVhytry, what are you doing just walking in? Now Rachetier fighting against Sabbeth and Sheyka. VVhytry turns into the Xing Chen, throws him into the back, but Outlaw finds 2 with the final judgment. Glaivus has to dash out of the shot. Sheyka so low. Finally, he'll fall. Rachetier picks it up, but not before Outlaw finds 1. Outlaw finds 2 by getting Glaivus with the evade and punish.
Love the idea there from VVhytry to turn into the Xing Chen. We talked about it. Sheyka has no beads, but the problem was that sops just did so much damage in that team fight. That's exactly where you want to pop that Caledonian boar, right in the middle of everybody.
And right onto pucmm. Sabbeth throwing that turn of fate and then knocking him up. Sops immediately drop that Gold Fury to go towards it. Now Ratch up into the dragon. He's going to try and steal this one away, but Sabbeth perfect zoning with that ohm.
Really good idea there. And so Rachetier gets 0 value out of that ultimate. Good fight from Indiana. They lose Sheyka, but he got all his damage off before he died. And that's that mid lane mentality, man. You're used to getting focused out, and he knew he needed to get that damage off.
Osath throwing some poke onto Wolfking, looking for the solo kill onto him. Gonna have that ultimate online. The sprint from Wolfking, just getting him out.
I asked for the horrific emblem, but he's proven me that the sprint has worked out. Now Osath's in a ton of trouble. Sheyka's got this one. Blink in, easy crush down. That's an easy kill for Sheyka, who really gets set up by a good bait from Wolfking.
About 1,500 or so, almost 1,800 gold now in favor of Indiana, thanks to that Gold Fury that they were able to get earlier and a few picks as well. 1,000 XP doesn't mean a whole lot early on. It's just a level here and there.
Exactly. So Tarrant County still in a good spot. Their late game still potent with the Xing Chen in the later stages of the game being an excellent team fighter, with VVhytry showing how well he can play the Morrigan in the late game as well. They've got their stuff ready to go if it goes late. Problem is that Indiana's late game comp is far better than it was in game 3. They've got a Thoth again, but instead of Hachiman, they've got this Artemis, and Sops is already showing how much he can do with it.
I mean, we saw what he could do game number 1 when he was hitting almost 700 crits at 25 minutes and then picked up the Deathbringer, and so now those crits are hitting for 1,000. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sops run that same route. Needs to be careful in case, another Thorns and a Nemean Lion might come out this time from Osath or Glaivus.
I mean, Thorns already picked up by Glaivus and Osath, so he's already got 2 more Thorns to worry about. The Nemean Lion should certainly be an option for at least 1, if not both. I mean, depending on what kind of style Glaivus wants to go for with this Ratatoskr. If he wants to go for the full tank, I think the Mystical Mail and a High the Nemean Lion is certainly warranted into how much Sops is going to do late game.
And he probably will need to go into at least another magical defense item to really try and keep Outlaw at bay, because if you only build the on-kill, sure, it's a good amount of magic protection for you, but it's not going to be enough late game when he's got that penetration. It just comes natural with Thoth.
pucmm in some trouble. He gets hit pretty hard, but Final Judgment just too short to find that kill. Glaivus has to use beads and thorns in response to that ultimate from Sops, but Sheyka again with the blink in and clean up on Cabrakan.
VVhytry looking for something around the corner, but with 4 members walking through, he's not going to be able to find much. The hammer from Rachetier not going to connect, and Sabbeth just sitting on that ohm, making sure that no one can move in.
Sabbeth now with the rest of his squad going to head towards the portal. Demon Glaivus going to dash in, and immediately everyone turns on him. Bad decision there from Glaivus, and Indiana make him pay.
That was a massive amount of regret you saw in his eyes. He got the stun, he went, oh, that might not have been the call.
It was a joke?
I'm just kidding, man. Leave me alone. And now Sheyka going in onto VVhytry. He's going to turn into the Xing Chen again. Going to pick up Sheyka, throw him back. Osath going to pick him up again. Throw him back into the tower. Knock up Root. Knock up Root maybe from the Osath. There it goes onto that one, but he's still alive. The double jump not going to land from Osath. If Sheyka gets out of this, he got out, and now Osath's the one who's in danger.
Wolfking's going to try and finish him off. Jumping forward, that Lord of the Afterlife Spirit Flails off the mark and a good turnaround by Osath and the rest of Tarrant County. Now Outlaw's in some trouble. Looks like that Indiana actually got that Portal Demon stolen away by Tarrant County. So even though Sheyka gets out, another objective victory. This time it goes to Tarrant County.
He's waiting for that dash to come online to get Outlaw. He doesn't have his relics. He's just going to get the spin. That's going to be another kill going over to Tarrant County. 2 for 2. Actually, 2 for 1, I believe, in that one. Only make that 4. No, 3. Just 3.
Either way, Indiana really throws that engagement out the window because they were in a great spot. They kill Glaivus. Then he somehow comes back because the Portal Demon got stolen by Tarrant County, and he ends up cleaning up Outlaw on the backside. Sheyka gets alley-ooped underneath the Tier 2 tower.
That was great.
And that was, still somehow survives, but this is what happens. Just like how Indiana stole away some objectives and put themselves back in the game, Tarrant County's done the same.
Sabbeth from the back. Sheyka now going to get thrown back again by Osath. VVhytry going to get the 2-man stun onto Sabbeth and Sheyka, but now they have to be on retreat. Wolfking is back. Sops still down for another 7 seconds, and instead they're just going to like to steal away the speed buff. Just go ahead and back up. Sheyka's not going to let that go down on his own. pucmm the one going on to. He's going to throw the Wild Hunt. Sheyka's still alive yet again. Somehow he's not dying. Glaivus going to find him. Wolfking going to find pucmm. Outlaw just clipping Glaivus with that ultimate.
One more shot will do it, but Glaivus will have his dash up, and there he goes. Trying to get up into that ultimate, but that just kills him. He was out. If he just kept on walking, Sabbeth looking for VVhytry, locks him in the cage, and he's going to get the kill on the Ganesha. You don't see that very often.
Well, now might be looking towards a kill back onto the Ganesha. Going to use that Ohm to silence him out for the time. Ratch not going to land that jump. Turn the opposite direction onto it. Osath just continuing the chase down. Knows that Death's going to come back. The turn of fate. Sabbeth just trying to hold himself on as long as he can. And Osath, he'll be able to pick that one up. But the whole time, Indiana picks up the gold.
The chase ends up in a free Gold Fury for Indiana. That puts themselves back in the lead. And it's going to be both buffs on this left-hand side for Sops as well. There's plenty of farm for this Artemis, which is all Artemis really wants, is to get to that late game, and it's getting there already, being level 16 now after he steals away both these buffs. He's got a wave and a half waiting for him in this dual lane, working towards what could be a chin size, so it looks like it might not be the double, the crit build for Sops, so that could be an Aussie just trying to get some extra lifesteal to try and punch through the double thorns from Tarrant County, but Indiana just kind of gives Tarrant County the okie doke, runs them around for a long time, and ends up getting a free objective for it.
And I think that's the call this time, is not going purposely into that crit this time. You know, maybe one little one comes out here and there, but because it's double thorns, you need to get some extra lifesteal to keep yourself sustained through that one. Thorn's just so potent against these hunters.
Exactly. I mean, double lifesteal might be enough in order to warrant going crit, but even then, it's a little bit too risky for my liking. Look, if you go full pen and you just roll lucky with the crit on Artemis, you're still doing crit level damage. I mean, you're still killing it with that big damage number. It's just going to be a lot less consistent, but you still have the other, you know, the penetration, the chin size passive, all that working for you to make it worth your while.
Ratch just throwing that hammer onto Sabbeth, just showing him who's the better support. Sheyka, you know, throwing a couple little taunts Osath's way. These players just love throwing out their taunts at each other.
Everyone does, man. It's a lot of fun.
Who doesn't?
That's because you get to taunt and then look across the way and see that they're getting mad about it. And that makes it feel that much better.
Especially when it's two guys going against each other in the lane, like Osath and Wolfking when they box out. Just seeing it come through them is always great, but that's a pretty free sprint and Lord of the Afterlife.
Yeah, Wolfking, I think, has got to do a better job of baiting himself intentionally there. Sheyka does find VVhytry, locks him in the cage. That gets the Aegis, but now Sheyka's on the run. VVhytry's going to transform into that Xing Chen, but they use it at the same time, both he and Osath, so they don't get as much value out of it.
Double knock-up, and the root comes through. Outlaw from the back. Sheyka's going to be able to find Glaivus. VVhytry getting low. Osath getting low. VVhytry's gone. 2 for 0 for Indiana. The chase looked like it's going to be on, but Osath, he's too far away.
Outlaw just hit 3 members with the same final judgment. There's a reason that this got banned away. That's a reason that Indiana's been first picking it for their mid laner. He has been on point with this DOS so far in this set. But again, that fight for me, Tarrant County just gets a little bit too overexcited. The double Xing Chen all at the same time, you're not going to, you know, rip the enemy god in half. That would be really cool. And we should probably add that, but
definitely
not right now. So Xing Chen, if VVhytry or Osath, which is a little bit more patient, you pick up a couple members, toss them back, pick them up again. The alley-oop that we saw earlier, that could be really impactful, but overlapping them loses Tarrant County that team fight.
Could you imagine if we had a god that could just rip the enemy in half? Like, just
so
literally in
cool.
half? That'd be the greatest thing, but Portal Demon started up yet again. We know how this went last time. We were stolen away. Ohm coming through, making sure that Rachetier can't steal that one. And Sheyka all the while in the back, playing zone duty. The Dharmic Pillars come through. Ult from Wolfking's gonna root 2 down. Now it's the team separated out. Osath caught out all alone. The rest of his team just left him.
Sheyka gets credit, but it was Sabbeth who got the actual last hit on a Ganesh passive. Not going to give him a second kill. That time there was at least someone to gift it to. And now Indiana might be able to just come through and pull his Fire Giant. That is the call. And I like it because they've got that final judgment ready to secure it if necessary.
VVhytry's getting so low between these two tanks. He can't get away. Now up into the Ratatoskr. He's just going to use the spin to get a little heal. Now up onto the tree. Maybe looking to try and get this Fire Giant away as it's still been going on this whole time. They're just going to double dunk down onto Wolfking possibly. No, they're going to elect to walk the other direction. VVhytry too low to keep going in. He's... Okay, that was the decoy. I thought he walked into that trap.
Use. Now Sops and Outlaw back on the Fire Giant. Final judgment still available, but Rachetier just going to walk up and transform. Trap waiting for him, though. Sops keeps the Fire Giant leash, and VVhytry's trying to chase him down. Good Aegis buys him the moment. Sheyka getting very low. Fire Giant getting low as well. That's going to get secured. Indiana gets the Fire Giant, but they lose Sheyka, and they might lose more.
VVhytry's out of mana, though. He can't continue this chase down. Even with the amount of CDR that he has, it's not going to do him much good. And the Pillars from Sabbeth making sure to hold out. pucmm got hit by Evade and Punish. Is gone. Outlaw's going to grab one. Maybe another with it as VVhytry gets knocked up. Glaivus in the trap again.
No.
These have been clutch for Sops.
Osath can't find the ultimate either. Rachetier uses the shell. Beads there from Sops just to stop the slow from that cursed strength. And that what looks like a fight that might turn Tarrant County's way. The turnaround stun from Outlaw sets it up for the Hoosiers. Indiana wipe another 3, and VVhytry's lucky to get away with his life. Indiana in heavy control of this one now. Fire Giant on 4 of 5 members, up about 6,000 gold, a little over 5,000, and that's before they take any tower on the map. There is still a lot of gold ripe for the taking for Indiana.
There's only been 2 towers dropped the whole time. The mid and the solo for Indiana side have been taken. And with all that gold still left available, that's what we like to call free gold. That's just a gold waiting for you to take it, especially at this time now that Indiana has 6,000 already in their favor. Well, make that 8,000 now with the Gold Fury.
This is going to be a really big gold lead really quickly, and if I'm Indiana, I think I'm using this Fire Giant to just strip away all 6 towers. I'm not looking for a Phoenix quite yet. There's no reason to try and be overly aggressive right now. There's so much gold waiting for you on the map that you're going to be able to finish, a full item and a half with how much gold you're going to get from all of these towers basically across the team. So I really like the idea for Indiana to spend their gold that they earned in that last team fight. Sops gets a Titan's Bane, which is perfect timing for him about to push down some towers. Outlaw finishes off Rod of Tahuti, making him that much scarier, believe it or not. And now Indiana gets to group up and try and get a bunch of gold for themselves.
Well, Sops electing to go towards that old style we used to call the unicorn build, going for it. Both these hunters are, and honestly, pucmm hasn't gone for crit at all, I don't think, in this entire set.
No, and you know what? That ends up being a little bit better anyways, in my mind, for a character like Cernunnos, who has a lot of extra power built in with that shifting seasons. You get a chance to really shred through some tanks if you hit them in autumn and then switch over to the summer season. You've got plenty of extra penetration, and that can work out nicely.
pucmm caught out by Sheyka here. He's going to be able to get out of the wall. Sheyka now taking a little bit, but he's just buying it for the rest of his team. They dropped the tier 1, they dropped the tier 2, and now Sheyka can just continue aggressing forward, keeping 3 members on this right side of the map while the rest of his team now pushing to the Phoenix.
Sheyka's got to be careful. If Tarrant County realize it, they could just go on him, but this has bought him the rest of the time for the Phoenix. You're right. What a play to open up this Phoenix siege. We were thinking that it was just going to be towers, but they just got the best Phoenix to get, the one opposite side of the Fire Giant.
Outlaw going to get a big stun onto Osath, making sure that sprint's going to be negated, making sure they can't continue forward onto it. Sheyka going to force out the ultimate from Glaivus. Now the Caledonian Boar comes out from Sops onto pucmm. He has to beat, he has to dash. Glaivus getting low. Shell from Rachetier as Wolfking's pushing forward, but now pucmm doesn't have anything to get away. The Wild Hunt's going to save him for the time, but Sheyka finally going to step off the gas, hit the brakes for a little bit, and back up.
Still plenty of towers to take down in mid here, so you can't get that Phoenix. Meanwhile, Outlaw defended the right side Phoenix successfully. up against VVhytry, who used the ultimate to actually transform into sops and got both relics out from Outlaw, but not enough to kill him. Now he'll be back to try and join his team on the defense as they try and defend the rest of their base. They already lost that left side Phoenix.
And that's the upside of the Morrigan, is even though he's 4 levels behind against Outlaw, 4 levels doesn't really matter to a Morrigan, because if they're ahead of you, you get their items, you get their levelings, you become them. And even if you're that far behind, you're still doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Sops is in a really good spot. So you just transform into Sops, and all of a sudden, you are in a really good spot. Getting both relics out from Outlaw, very, very important. It allows the opportunity to have Glaivus just dunk down on him and set up everyone else on the squad. VVhytry should basically just do the same. If I'm Tarrant County, I'm looking to dive Outlaw in this next fight with as many ultimates as it takes to bring him down.
Doesn't have quite the option he did last time with the quick instant ult with the Fear No Evil. This time he kind of has a few options. There's a few big windups he has to take into account. He has the ult from Glaivus to use going up onto the tree. That's going to take a while. He has the ult that he can grab from the Xing. That's going to be a little bit of a windup. So it's the question of, who does he transform into?
I think I'd rather see him go for another Ratatoskr. Just try and double dunk Outlaw, put the pressure onto him. Between 2 of them, that'll be more than enough damage to bring him down. Could also try and make the big play and transform into Outlaw himself and hit that final judgment off of the setup from Glaivus' ult. Either way, he's got enough options to transform into damage that need to dive Outlaw. Problem is that Indiana has been very smart. They don't push the envelope too far. They just kind of hold back, get their towers, wait it out, wait for Outlaw's relics to come back up. By the time that the next team fight possibility breaks out, it might be 35 seconds from now, and that would mean that Outlaw is safe and sound.
Sheyka needs to continue doing what he did last time, which was he held 3 members away of Tarrant County to make sure that his team could get Tier 1, Tier 2, and continued holding them on to where they could get a free Phoenix. Only Rachetier was able to make the rotation last time, and 1 Fafnir is not going to be enough to stop 4 members of Indiana.
No, and Sheyka just feels unkillable right now. I mean, he's got so much defense and still doing enough damage to stay relevant and force out Relic from the other side.
Well, Osath trying to make his way in as well as Rachetier. Ratch going to jump in. Not used to that draconic form until just now. Fire Giant has been unleashed. Final Judgment's gonna delete VVhytry. He's out of the fight. Glaivus going on to Outlaw, but the relics are back up. He's gonna use those thorns. He's gonna get stunned now, trapped in the cage, and Wolfking gonna get the last in hand to drop him down. Outlaw with the double onto pucmm. Outlaw throws out the dash to stun onto Osath. Wolfking chasing him down, but now it's only 2 tanks for Tarrant County left.
What a fight there from Outlaw. He's just so accurate on this Thoth. He hits VVhytry, crushes him right off the map before he can use Aegis or anything else. Then he's able to stun out Glaivus, making sure that Wolfking cleans him up. Then he gets pucmm with the hieroglyphic assault. I mean, that's just a Thoth clinic right in there from Outlaw. The damage in the late game, too much for Tarrant County to handle. And no one even gets a chance to look at him besides Glaivus, who got him fairly low and got both relics once more. But with VVhytry already dead, there was just no follow-up.
I didn't realize we changed Thoth's ultimate to be 100% execute. Is that a new feature?
No, well, it used to actually be 100% executing.
Oh, okay.
We turned it down a little bit. Now you have to be like 80%.
80% now?
Yeah,
it's not too bad. I mean,
yeah,
it's
seems good.
Twice as good as a Thanatos. I mean,
yeah. Look, I should be better than Thanatos. My mages should be better than Thanatos. I don't have to apologize for this, J-Man.
Look, we're both mages. We don't gotta apologize for nothing. I died. It's your fault.
Yeah, I hit my skill shot. Yeah. You get bodied.
I hit my ultimate. It didn't kill them. That's not my fault I don't have enough gold. You were stealing my waves.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You know how it is. This is what we need more of. Everyone else just makes fun of me. Oh, mages don't get any farm. Yeah, because they don't.
We don't. And they don't get a Phoenix because Tarrant County's is already gone. A quick amount of damage from Indiana is going to drop that one down. Now Osath on the front line for his team, defending the mid Phoenix, but no one on Indiana is really looking to push into this one just yet.
And they got to wait for that mid wave to try and remove those backdoor protections. Outlaw going to try and pick that up. They've only got a couple minions here with it. I believe they lost one of the big ones there, so not quite as long to tank this up, but still should be enough with how much damage Sops is doing right
Pillars
now.
into the back. Puckham's caught in place. He has nowhere to go. Out goes Glaivus in the back, but he's getting bursted down. Outlaw charging that ult. Not going to find a home with it, though, so nobody going to perish to that ultimate, but the mid lane Phoenix is down. All 5 members of Indiana are healthy, and now they're looking to the left side.
Sops still has his Aegis. Did use his ultimate there, but will have beads up soon. Titan underneath the attack from the minions. Good damage there over the wall. Osath combines with pucmm to bring down Outlaw. That's a good start for Tarrant County.
But Rachetier's already gone. pucmm picks up sops, and now getting very low is Osath himself. Double kill for Wolfking, but he's going to drop down. Double kill for pucmm now. Sabbeth and Sheyka, the last members left alive. pucmm using that slow stance to keep Sabbeth at bay. Going to be a kill over to Glaivus. 4 for 2 for Tarrant County.
Sheyka gets told, leave me. Sabbeth is dead. He ends up falling. Sheyka, the only one left alive. That Phoenix, just a little sliver of HP, but enough to stay up. So Tarrant County able to take a breath, at least for the moment. Outlaw, again, just didn't have his relics. Sops didn't have his Aegis. Those are important cooldowns that just weren't available for Indiana. And all of a sudden, Tarrant County's able to turn it around. Really nice wild hunt over the wall from pucmm. He hit 3 members with it, dealing damage, transforming a couple as well. And that was a good team fight for Tarrant County. Problem is, they already lost both Phoenixes in mid and left. And they're still very, very far behind here. This Gold Fury going to help boost that a little bit closer to in their favor, but still going to be down over 10,000 gold, and you've still got to worry about late game from everybody else on the side of Indiana.
I think pucmm may have thought that timer was a little bit longer on that red buff. He looked at it and he went, nah, I can drop this purple buff real quick. As soon as he turned around, that red buff was gone. But most importantly, in that last fight, they kept that right side Phoenix alive. They didn't let the third bird drop yet.
Exactly, and usually when the third Phoenix falls, that's when you can pack it up. But we have seen teams make some comebacks. Rival lately with the Super Regionals defense up against Team Dignitas. They were able to win,
nuts.
Being down much more than Tarrant County is, and having lost all 3 Phoenixes, but that's a once in a blue moon sort of game. Tarrant County really need to have a lot more team fights go their way if they still want a chance in this one.
Sheyka again getting aggressive onto 2 members of Tarrant County, running forward, gonna juke out the hammer from Rachetier, but now does not have that root immunity, that slow immunity, so he's just gonna back up, wait for the rest of his team to move in. Fire Giant no longer around their belts as that's despawning from them. That buff's gone. They want to try and get this Phoenix, but I think they need to back up and get ready for the Fire Giant fight.
Could be, but the Phoenix is still half HP, hasn't quite regen enough, and Sheyka's gonna blink in right on a pucmm. He catches his dash as well. pucmm doesn't have Aegis quite yet, but he's gonna be able to escape outside the range of that final judgment.
Outlaw not gonna find any home with that one. Now Sops is getting very low. Dunk down, VVhytry into the back, not gonna find it. Sops gonna get Rachetier. VVhytry and Osath getting low. Osath's gone. Outlaw gets that one. Glaivus is low. Double for Outlaw, and Glaivus has to go back. He's too far away. He's too low in HP to stop this one. And now with all 3 Phoenixes down, Indiana University are going to take the set and be your Season 4 AVGL champions.
Congratulations to Indiana. Well deserved. They played great this set. Even Game 3 where Tarrant County ended up winning. It was a great effort from Indiana. They win the AVGL Collegiate Championships, and they looked great doing it.
Look, they said, I took 2nd place in this round robin. I took 2nd place in the Duelist Kingdom tournament, but we're taking 1st place in the AVGL Grand Finals.
I'm sure that if you asked them which of those they'd rather place first in, this probably would have been the one that they asked for. I mean, it was a great effort all around the board. Wolfking had his struggles early in the set. He turned it around and looked very good in the final few games. Sheyka looked great in the jungle for the most part. Outlaw, I mean, we talked about him consistently on this Thoth. He was incredible. Sops looked great. Sabbeth looked great. It was a full team effort from Indiana.
Outlaw, once again, throwing out those ults. We mentioned he was pinpoint accurate with those shots, aside from the last couple of fights, but he didn't necessarily need them every single time. He was able to force the members away from where they wanted to be. You don't want to be near Outlaw. You don't want to be in the middle of the fray. You kind of push them out of the way for Sops to really get some big setup.
And the stuns were on point as well. That's so important that to hit your setup for yourself, for your other teammates. Evade and Punish does lots of damage.
Right there.
This is the turnaround fight where Tarrant County tried to push forward, tried to turn it around, and Outlaw just stuffs it out with that great turnaround.
I think there was 3 games that he got that god, and only one of them they lost on. Kind of like how we talked about the Morrigan may have needed to have been the ban away. I think Thoth may have needed to be one of the bans for Tarrant County.
Could have been. I mean, they really did try to just push around it, not really worry about it too much, and it ended up kind of being their downfall because Outlaw was just incredible.
It was an insane showing from all of these players. I mean, throughout all of these weeks, the only time they played against each other was in that round robin. They got the one game to look at each other and go, all right, what can you do? What might we need to focus? And then semifinals comes up. They play their best of 5s. Tarrant goes 3-2 against Consumes River. Indiana goes 3-1 against Cooney Staten Island. I'm going to shorten it because it's an extremely long name that I don't want to go in.
It's longer than that. That felt pretty long already.
Do you want me to go through the whole?
I truly don't. No.
Sorry,
That's
Collateral.
okay.
I'm not saying that one for you. I told him maybe, but if he made it here, maybe. But he didn't, so I'm not saying it for you.
I mean, Indiana just played great. I mean, credit to Tarrant County as well. They looked pretty solid in that game. And game 3, they turned it around. It's just that they looked a little bit overmatched in a lot of those lanes. Pucmm in particular just had a lot of struggles with sops. And, you know, as we touched on, Pucmm, that's not his role. You know, he's not usually an ADC. To go up against sops is a lot to ask. Unfortunate that he just couldn't put it together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of shoes to fill, especially because we mentioned Data Remember was their carry last season. And Pucmm, he transitioned into jungle to replace what was Fine OK at the time. Not quite the same shoes to fill. When you go Fine OK's jungle, you know he's the big solo laner. But Data Remember, he is one of the premier challenger level hunters and now into the pro league. But we do have an interview with Sheyka. We're going to go ahead and transition over to it.
Here you go.
Oh, I get to do this?
Right away.
I get to do this with you? Sheyka, come here. Come here, Sheyka. So, Sheyka, tell me a little bit about it. So, at the beginning of the season, I tuned into one of your streams, and what was the phrase that you told me that Indiana was going to do this season?
Win it all. I said it at the first step. I knew we had a great squad, and I said we just take the cup.
You guys played phenomenal today. So a lot of players were talking about, you know, pucmm might be the one that we need to ban out. You guys, you just let pucmm have whatever you wanted. What was kind of your thought process going into game 4? You just got destroyed by a Morrigan last time, and you let it through. Did y'all not think that that was the pick?
No, we didn't think it. I don't know. We stuck with the game plan, even though we lost game 3 and we're forced to game 4. And I don't know. We pulled out. We picked the tank in the jungle, and really we're just a tank team, kind of. I don't know. We don't normally play together. We don't scrim together much, so you know you can't do too many like pocket pits like they did and stuff like that.
I mean, you more than anybody are a tank player. When you played your hyper carries, it didn't work out too well. I still remember that Mercury game against Cooney Staten Island. That didn't go too well for you guys, but you're the Season 4 AVGL champions. What are you gonna do with that scholarship money? You gonna buy one textbook? You gonna buy the cover of a textbook?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe take a girl on a date. I don't know. Maybe take no, I'm kidding. I won't take Sabbeth's girl. Sabbeth's a great guy. I love him. Well today.
Congratulations.
Hey,
you guys are the Season 4 champions. It has been a great honor getting to sit here and cast your games. Obviously, I wish I could play those games with you guys, but you guys are phenomenal. You stopped the 4-peat from Osath. I think that was. I heard you had a little bit of a trash talk. Maybe you gotta send yourself. What was it that you
friendly trash talk?
What was it that you said in game number 1 when y'all got that win over Osath?
I was like, you're not getting that 4-peat, not this year. You know, he's won 4 times. Or he won 3 times. That's enough.
Yeah, 3 times enough for that. So that's going to be all from us here at the AVGL Collegiate Smite League. We're going to take it over to the analyst desk with F. Tolley and a gentleman over from SOAR.